for what we are excited to present to you today, which is essentially a pre-release of an upcoming venture between us and our partner, Elevate. We're working together to bring you a quality of experience measurement platform. And in today's presentation, we're going to go through introducing the platform, what it is and what it does. We're then going to have a little teaser look at some of the work that we're doing at the moment to bring this together with our existing product, Bex, and what we see as the vision and the future of this product. And of course, a Q&A for you to get a chance to answer your questions, see how you think that this would fit in with your platform. So feel free to ask any questions as we get towards the end today. So what we're going to do first is obviously explore the platform and have a look at it and understand it. So I'm going to hand over to my very good friend and colleague, Tala, to take you through the platform here. So Tala, I'll continue with the slides. Let me know when you want to take over control.
Quick introduction. My name's Mohammed Talhanur. I'm the CTO of Elevate AI. Today we'll mostly be talking about Pulse. Pulse, basically, you know how you would always perceive your internets or any networks experience based on the apps which you're using on top of them. So let's say, how quickly can I load a video on YouTube Shorts, or how quickly can I post something on social media? Am I able to watch Netflix in 4K or not, or how good or bad my gaming experience is in terms of latency or frame drops? So all of those things, the apps which you're using, they directly impact your experience about any network. So unfortunately, it's always the internet provider who gets blamed for any app level issues as well. And that's why Pulse was formed. So Pulse essentially is an end user emulator. So these are these endpoints which you can deploy within your network. It would go online, watch some videos, browse a few websites, play some games, and then report back how good or bad the experience was. And then, of course, you can take certain actions based on that data. But at the core of it, it's all about app quality. Okay, so I think that's a good starting point. We should look at the challenges which we're trying to fix. And the main issues or the frustrations are that network operators, they have this ability to monitor their network from a node point of view. So essentially looking at if their nodes are up or down, which has more to do with availability than the experience itself. And it's very similar to an analogy which we usually use is if you were trying to fix a car without looking at any indicators which you see on the dashboard, it's really tough. So the starting point, we want to shift that focus from that network perspective towards a more customer-centric view, because the customers, they really care about the apps and not really the underlying technology, or let's say the speed, latencies, the bit error rates, which modulation schemes are being used, how good or bad the signal strengths are. So all of those things are important. They affect your experience, but the starting point should be app level. That's what the end users, they really care about. Another thing is that every operator has this multi-vendor systems and infrastructure, and every vendor would have their own reporting tool. And it's like I am reporting my own performance. So there is this need for a single source of truth, which could be network agnostic and vendor agnostic as well. Another key issue is that connectivity these days is becoming more and more commoditized. So it's a race down to zero now, and whoever can offer cheaper services is who's going to win. So there's this need for differentiation as well. The solution, of course, is Pulse. Pulse, we're on this mission to fix the internet, a big mission. So at least we're trying to fix some of those issues. And the whole idea is to move away from guesswork and try to proactively monitor a network, identify the issues, and then fixing them as well, or helping the operators fix those networks. The other thing is that Pulse being vendor agnostic and network agnostic, so that fixes that problem of having not having a single source of truth. So that is that. And of course, the last thing is that if you start offering your customers that visibility into their app level quality, that could be used as a differentiator as well. And then you can also collect the data from the competitive network as well, and that could be used as a benchmark as well. So that's another plus with Pulse. I am not going to steal Tony's thunder and talk a lot about autonomous networks. This would be coming up in the latest slides. But some of the things, exciting things, which we are doing with Pulse as we speak is its integration with a large language model. So it's essentially an AI agent which has access to all the app level quality data coming in from Pulse. And also we feed in data from any internal knowledge bases, any previous tickets which were opened, how were they fixed, any CRM data which gives you information about the customer profile. Are they a business customer? Are they a residential customer? What kind of bandwidth should we expect? And all of this data gets fed into this AI agent. And for certain network operators, other external data like weather data becomes very important for satellite internet providers. So all of this data that this gets fed into an AI agent, which you can then interact with either through a web chat or through a dashboard, or it even supports speech to text and text to speech modules as well. So you can actually talk to the AI agent and ask, how good is my network looking today? It could tell you, okay, we can see some problems in East London, and then you can really drill down into what those issues are. It could tell you, oh, it's a problem with DNS, or I can see YouTube video quality being affected in XYZ region, and it can sort of then correlate all of those with any other information which you are fetching from external systems. One of the examples could be, let's say there was some maintenance window last night, and that impacted the app quality of experience. So that could be fixed proactively instead of waiting for end users to complain and then you going ahead and investigating. I let Tony talk a little bit more about the closed loop system, but at a very high level, it's the same similar concept. Pulse's data comes in, and Bex, being an orchestration platform, is able to take certain actions. And because the data it keeps on coming in, it can see if that change had a positive or a negative impact. If the change was positive, we keep it. If not, we try something else until we fix the issue. Or if nothing happens, it just puts a flag on it so a human can come in and take those actions on your behalf. But more of that coming in later from Tony. This is the last one, I promise. So basically, Pulse's data, app quality data coming in, there's something there for everyone. So we did talk about the network operators a little bit, how they can use this quality, app quality data. Which could be used either for optimization purposes, could also be used for competitive benchmarking. Of course, if quality is going down for a particular customer, that could lead towards churn as well. So there's a churn prevention mechanism as well. Then, of course, some of the end customers, either they are business, gamers, they are also really interested in knowing how good or bad their internet quality is. So there could be some dashboards which could be extended for these users. Regulators, they're getting more and more involved now. So just like you would expect clean water to be delivered to homes, good quality of internet has to be delivered to residential as well as business customers. Of course, that directly affects your economy as well. So that's where the regulators and standard bodies, they are coming more and more actively involved, making sure that the right quality of internet is being delivered as promised. All right, so as promised, that was the last one. So over to you, Tony.
Fantastic. So Tyler, are you I think what we'll do is, before we start getting deeper into closing the loop with Bex, what I think we'll do is show everyone a demo of the platform. So if you want to walk through the kind of data that someone could collect there, the kind of information they can see, and the kind of problems that they'd be able to solve by seeing that information, that'd be fantastic. So I will cede the floor again so that you can show off a lovely demo.
Okay, so basically this is one of the way where you could visualize the data coming in from Pulse. Like I said, Pulse has endpoints which are collecting this app quality data, which gets fed into this analytics platform. And all of that it's in raw form. So it really depends on how you want to visualize this. So this is one way of doing it. Of course, depending on what type of network we're talking about, this could vary. But essentially, the whole idea is that you get this ability to categorize your data. One of them ways, the way it is being done here is geographical locations, but this could also be your business units as well. So your commercial customers, residential, your enterprises, all of those could be different categories. But for this one, it's based on geographical locations. Like you can see that we have a score coming in from West Midlands, Wales, Southwest. So essentially at the back end, what we've done is we have created a scoring mechanism which gets that app quality data coming in and it scores it out of 10, 10 being the best, one being the worst. And as you can see that these are the tiles which are showing you all different regions. Then you can pick and choose which apps you are really interested in. So being, let's say, if you're a business provider, connectivity provider, then you would mostly be interested in applications like the GitHub, MS Teams, Outlook. For residential, maybe social media platforms and video streaming platforms might make more sense here on the tiles. Within the tile, you see the exact results which were fetched in the last test and the difference from last 24 hours. So if there's a deterioration, you would see a red indicator with it. Green means that things have improved a bit. All right. So then, of course, you see the 24 hours trend for different regions. So just to give you an idea of how the historical trends look like. Another thing, what you'll see across the dashboard is we tend to categorize those applications into these high-level application categories. So video streaming would heavily be dominated by YouTube. Social media would be Instagram, Twitter, messaging, Telegram, WhatsApp. If you move more towards Asia and Asia Pacific, WeChat and Line messengers, they become more popular. Gaming is essentially PUBG in this case. Browsing, you define your own URLs, which websites you're interested in to monitor. And productivity are things like Teams, Office 365, and things like that. And that also covers certain infrastructure services as well. So let's say if you have your own DNS server, your own VoIP services, so all of those, they fall under productivity as well. Essentially, where we want to start with is maps. Maps is where you would get this a high-level view, bird's eye view of how your network is, where your endpoints are actually deployed, how good or bad their quality is. So they would be color coded based on that. As I said, this is just one way to visualize it. And then if you want to then sort of zoom in from that network view to a particular location, you can just click on that particular endpoint, and that gives you drill down of exactly what's happening there, what the IP addresses are, the public IP address, private IP address, what BGP AS number that IP is associated with. Of course, the same categories which we talked about that would be here. We did talk about infrastructure, for example. There you would see the VoIP MOS scores. So what the endpoints also do is they make these calls between each other. So the bots would talk to each other and then report back how good or bad your MOS scores. Okay, another some of the cool features, just to quickly show you, are the smart commands. So this is the ability to run commands on these endpoints from the dashboard. So for example, I can initiate a very basic one. Let's just do, let's say a trace route of google.com. So essentially what this will do is the dashboard is going to send a signal to the endpoint to run a trace route and report back whatever it sees on the endpoint. So this is actually happening on the endpoint, and in real time, you get the response back and you can use these to troubleshoot. And the whole idea is that you want to reduce your truck rolls. Whenever there's a problem, the first thing is you have to send an engineer on site who would plug in a laptop and run these trace route commands, speed tests, iPerfs, ping even. So all of these commands now could be done remotely. So you can really save on those truck rolls. And like you can see, all of these other commands are available as well. So let's say if I want to run ping, I can just go ahead, write that down, and it just goes to default, which would be 5 packets, but I can of course define how many packets I want to send out as well. There you go. Okay. So one other cool feature which I want to show you is application breakdown. And application breakdown essentially is, you know how one application would be made up of different other applications, or let's say let's say if I go to YouTube, it would be fetching data from different asset servers, CDNs, API calls. So you really want to know where the problem is coming from. So let's try this. So from one of the endpoints, let's pick up YouTube, like I said, and if you click on analyze, it will go to the parent URL, then look at which other assets are being fetched. And for each and every individual asset, it is going to run some tests and then report back if it's good or bad. So of course, red means bad, yellow is all right, green was supposed to be ideal. And of course, for the lab setup, we have added certain latency. So that's why you see some of them as red. But you get the idea that it's fetching those API calls, CDNs, and URLs. So it really pinpoints where the issue is coming from. So that's a cool feature of Pulse as well. One of the other ones is, of course, you can use any of those raw parameters or scoring to generate a heat map. So that gives you a high-level view of where your problematic hotspots are. Hop by hop is another interesting one, where what it allows you to do is run tests between endpoints. So let's say if you have Pulse endpoints deployed in your network, those could be running tests between them, and that's what you see on your screen. So of course, red means bad, yellow is average, green is good. And you can of course choose which endpoints you want to be running tests between. There you go. And then you can see how the performance is between hops. So problematic hop could be identified as well. All right then. So Tony, back to you then. I'm not going to bore you with the remaining stuff about alarm listing and the profiles. And if anyone has questions, we'll probably drill down further into that.
Yeah,
so,
fantastic.
Over to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Tala. Most appreciated. So as you can see there's a lot of tools to gain some deep insight into where what you can see on your network, and there's invaluable tools there for support teams to understand and drill into problems without having to send engineers direct to site. You can essentially send a little box there, or in the case of some of the CPU manufacturers that we're working with today, actually have the bots installed on the CPEs in the business or customer's home. So fantastic to be able to have all of that data at your fingertips to be able to do the troubleshooting and assist in making things happen. But one of the things that we're looking at the moment is the ability to actually do more. So there's always the promise of autonomous networks at the moment, and one of the key things that we're looking into is ways that we can use this data that you're gathering inside your network to help you make actions and actually fix issues when they happen. So rather than in the instance of, say, a typical business to business setup where you will have a primary and a secondary line, where what normally would happen is that failover would occur based upon the complete failure of the primary line, what Pulse gives us the ability to do is actually benchmark that line and benchmark each line and see if there's any issues. And if there's any issues happening on the line while it's still up, it can fail over and then give information to the support team to go and have a look and see what's happening, all without the customer having to be involved and them noticing what's going on. So fantastic for that customer retention and customer experience itself. So how are we looking into this? At the moment, as Tala mentioned, the key thing here is a kind of closed loop system where we're essentially having Bex call out to the Pulse central server, pull the information about what's actually happening on a particular endpoint, and then make a decision and change configuration accordingly. And currently, I'm not going to demo this. We're going to do this as just a teaser. When we do the full launch, we'll actually go through an actual demo of this in action. But just to give you an idea of the kind of setup, what's going on here, as mentioned, we've got Bex talking to a central Pulse server, and we've got a customer router sat there with different options for routes, and Bex then can make that decision. Now, of course, you can put it in fully autonomous mode and have Bex and Pulse make all of the decisions for you, or you can have just the system make a suggestion and warn you of any issues rather than necessarily taking direct action. So that's something that we're looking at the moment, and we will give you a good demo of when we do the full release. But just so you get an idea of how we're looking to combine the two products together to actually produce something really, really useful and help with reducing the number of support tickets your teams have to deal with, essentially letting the network heal itself, and then improving the actual customer experience based on that. So some other things that we're looking at in terms of where we see the future of both what we're producing in Packet Front and what we have here with Pulse is taking a look of working out what's going on and doing correlation based on topology. So if Bex is in control of your network, it understands the topology end to end for each service. And so what we can do with the information coming through Pulse is then have that experience based on topology, and then be able to hint at where the places to go and have a look are. For example, all of the people having a low experience with their internet connections are going through two particular routers in the path. So have a look at those first. So again, really helping in speeding up understanding what's going on in your network and therefore reducing the support costs inside your business. We're also looking at the fact that here we've got a fantastic opportunity to take a look at snapshots of the network in time and the experience associated. So because Bex has a history of what's gone on in the network, and Pulse has the history of the end customer experience on that network, what can happen is essentially we can see cause and effect for changes that are made. So essentially you can set a maintenance window and see that at this point you made this change and that made either the customer's experience better, worse, or indifferent. So essentially then you've got this ability quickly to see your actual genuine impact on your customers by the decisions that you're making and the changes that you are making in your network. So these are things that are coming in the future that we're looking at the moment. We just wanted to give you a taste, an idea that this we've got a whole roadmap essentially of the things that we want to look at and bring into between the two products. So then I will open up the floor now for Q&A. Anyone who's got any questions, feel free to ask and we'll do our best to answer them. Of course, if no one has any questions. Yes. Hello, Alex.
Hello there. I've got a question about the bot. If I was running that on an end user device, for example, is it quite a lightweight application? So is it something that sort of sits dormant until it's needed, or if it's running all the time, is it quite, because we've got endpoint software on a lot of devices, and some of them can be quite resource intensive and they can impact the end user's experience of using their device on a day-to-day basis. So I'm just wondering what that would look like.
Yeah, excellent question, Alex. And I think it's very important to understand that what happens is these CP devices, they're quite cheap. So all the processing power, the compute power, you cannot expect that to be very cutting edge. Those would be very limited resources, very little number of cores. RAM would be limited as well. Storage is always less. So all these processes running on it, they're always fighting for resources. So you have to be careful about how much resources these bots use. So Pulse is extremely lightweight. So there's not a lot of storage which is required for it. In terms of compute and bandwidth, memory, we have been able to run it on a single thread with 2 GB RAM as well. But when it comes to bandwidth utilization, that really depends on what type of tests you're running. So for example, a video test is expected to take a lot more bandwidth, or let's say an Ookla speed test is going to take, on an iPerf test, is going to take a lot of more bandwidth as compared to, let's say, a DNS test or a social media post test. So what you want to do is you want to define your profiles in an intelligent manner. So you're not really hogging the bandwidth, just running these tests all the time. So that was the other bit which I was about to show in the demo, but we are a bit short on time. But on those profiles, you can define on a very granular level that these tests need to be run every 5 minutes. This one has to run every 1 hour, so on and so forth. Another intelligent thing which Pulse can do is it has an SNMP module as well. So it can go and check from the CPE what the current utilization looks like, all in terms of CPU utilization, temperature, even bandwidth, and then only run tests when it has sufficient resources available. Hope that answers your question, Alex.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else with a question now? And of course, if you would prefer to ask your question in private, feel free to contact one of us in sales or send an email to sales@pfsw.com, and we will take a look at those. We can go into a deeper demo, have a look at your specific use case, answer any questions you've got so that you can see and understand what benefits this can bring to you. Okay, then, fantastic. So we will end here today then. Thank you very much for attending. Again, any questions, etc., just please feel free to contact us and send those in. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers, Eggs. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.